noo lañ def ñoo ñëw ak yéen rek skincare plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5 star Jotna la 5 star Jotna mooy Jotna bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu la neexee ñu tuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la. We're not all about skin. We are skin, care, and the plus does come in so many different ways.
No, ini bara. Okay. Welcome. Basically, lots of lala me along is cool, man. That I can really relax. What the madam? Yeah, that's. What the madam? Yeah, let them do somebody. That's right. Grand Villa. Kamu jadi Grand Villa. That's fine. Selamat. Yes. No. Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me alone because they relax. So it's always going to happen on this trend. Nina Fanny say what? Nidia, Nena Grand Villa is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Beji andikam Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungul bebe senyaring adum na bungul bebe nyarandiring coming ibela fila ila suwe taranyame until Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wale mukamotin telkang na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fa kalamuta.
Oh man, this is like a paradise. I know. I so much love this place. Yeah, thank you. Trust me, I love this place.
You come to someone and you're watching what?
Yeah.
I know what Gambia Grand Villa.
I tell you. I love this place. Okay.
Yes.
I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
Ni lefta na kuo keso sotola futama Oljuntum Paradise Estate mbaya komandiro ke 7527218 wale futana website oto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
yara ñilla domoro ka diaten
boy janno sikes restaurant
e say nakko be ni na dimba domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kendema bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jang ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo fendin lo dunia kono domoro betama ñillom international o tewoda number 1
amanke ba domolo jandama
e sa domo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa nakko sa futandin
e oto sa nakko be mu CK's restaurant
dafa nan janna mu yat ni manje dorom bijam
aban
CK's Restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
na broda min ba Europe ni sta konte nka bo wala kol kan sai na so ko na mano ban ta jabo ban ta tulo ban sai ka bo wala kol kan da ka ba office ko na ba dama bulo mutarin ba ka ta simple no ni kon batu ngane ta ya puri ma ko do ban dinga ta mano sa ni tulo ni jam
mun da bete ni la broda man balwo service kalam
mun service
balwo service
ni da foronte mo kala
mun da a fela broda ko abitala internet ol aya ba site la woldo balwo.com nay wo sajje a apu ñu ba download la telephone la na be sandiro to ni wal na be sidin ala office ko ndama manjar pour ay ta bank ko kodoki abe sidin office ko da minto ito message so ya telephone ko no e biti ko be gambia dawda biti ko ba belo ko ta tano dawda yeta fempo tawo wodama
yala bari wa service na ta mo da han mata nyo le kan fi janna broda ka ko mata nyo la ayo ko ta han
balwo service dinkirala jampo o manken na kolaya ko balwo service al demano kaje ko ale domor feŋol sang alla dimbaya molu ana lakkanun tewol wato bela ani wat sudum fanan kono balwo service la dinkiralu ani la do kunyolu e be banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nalla fa ko ku koton so balwo service la kolto ali commandi telephone la no la milbuko 9400213 7694319 wala 3192870 wala hankabi alta internet oto alila kolu jibe www.baluwo.com.
Do you live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the brunch on Kerfatu. I'm Lamin Cham and welcome to the studios. Last week we came to you from the International Conference Center, Saudi Jawara, I should say. This week we are back in the studios and as you can see, if you can see my guest already, we have with us members of the executive committee of the 3 years Jotna, and I also have the head of the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights in the Gambia, and my usual panelist and colleague Nyima Kamara from the University of the Gambia and Kerfatu is also in the studio. So gentlemen and lady, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, this week, the major news has been protest and threats of protest and even counter-protests. So we will start with the protest that happened just recently. The Opposition Alliance for Patriotic Reorientation and Construction, APRC, had their protest demanding the return of ex-President Jammeh, because they said that was a joint declaration that the international community reached between them and Jammeh, and they said the Gambia government, which has denied that they ever had any such agreement. The party went into the streets from Sukuta traffic light to Turntable and submitted those demands to the international community, particularly the AU. They claim that the agreement must be implemented. The former president deserves the right to come back. As controversial as that claim might be, I mean, a lot of people supporting APRC came there. Before I go to my panelists, particularly representative from the Gambia Center for Victims, Sheriff Kijera, let me have Nima on your thoughts on the APRC demonstration or protest a few days ago. Did you watch? You haven't been there. I was there.
I wasn't. No, I was not there.
I went there.
I did not watch the complete procession, but I've seen pictures, I've seen short videos, and I've listened to certain comments. I mean, in 2016, this is what we fought for. We wanted a Gambia where everybody can express themselves, regardless of whether we agree with their message or not. So I don't see anything wrong with any particular group, APRC inclusive, coming out to protest. What I have a problem with is the government's attitude that have, in the first place, emboldened this group to feel that with the ongoing TRRC that's happening, the revolutions that are happening, without any iota of shame on their party and their participation in all of that atrocities, to now feel so emboldened to come out so proudly to demand for the return of the man who is the main person with major responsibilities with all of those atrocities. So I'm going to say, reiterate once again, that there wasn't anything wrong with them coming out, but there is everything wrong with the government's attitude towards them.
You mean the government contributed to emboldening the APRs, even President Jammeh, who recently made it in a video that people claim was leaked, but many believe it was deliberately shared. He was saying that they could go to the streets, which, as you said, critics have said he denied the Gambian people of doing for 22 years. The last time there was 14 people were killed. Now his party, you think the government's own, either their lack of clarity or soft stance on Jammeh matters that led them to now have the courage to go and demand for his return. But
apart from the TRRC, because everything is happening at the TRRC, at the government's level, outside of that setup, we haven't had any strong messages against APRC. We haven't had any condemnation coming from the president. And we have also recently, in terms of their rhetorics that they are saying about the President Jammeh having the right to come back and he can settle here. And even after this audio came out, you would expect that the government will come up with a strong message to say, we do not want you to interfere in our domestic matters.
But the government spokesman at least made
the government spokesman said,
and that's interfering.
That's what is so problematic.
Violating his exile condition, whatever the conditions are, and he's instigating people to go in the street. At least the government spokesman was strong against that.
What is problematic about that is the spokesperson following that up with, you cannot come back here because we cannot ascertain your security and safety. Like, who are you to be concerned with President Jammeh's security and safety? This is the person that is highly wanted in this country to face the courts, to pay for all the atrocities have committed against the Gambian people. You have other countries like Ghana who are seeking to have him to try him. The Gambia government is supposed to be doing the same thing. What we want to hear from this man is that you can come here, but be sure that when you come here, you're going to pay for your crimes. We don't want the Gambia government sending a signal that we are doing this to protect you.
Exactly. Now, the last thing that we had, I mean, still going on the Gambia government's position on Jammeh, we had the head of state of Ghana who was confronted by parliamentarians and human rights activist in Accra about the need for Ghana, to seek prosecution of Jammeh about the killing of 44 Ghanaians. And he said, well, he had taken up the matter with President Barrow, whose attitude was, well, because of the situation here, we have to, look into things or take some time. Isn't this not another reflection of what you are trying to say, that the government is not serious or very much hard in their stance against Jammeh, or even keen to get him prosecuted?
Yeah, I mean, if everything that this government has been doing and their actions is anything to go by, everything they do is motivated by politics.
Politics.
Their lack of activity, their lack of taking effective action is always motivated by politics.
Yeah.
What is this going to do for us in terms of our ambition to mobilize, especially from the APRC camp, to support our political agenda in the future?
But what do you make of the statement of Jammeh? Jammeh said he didn't want the party to ally with any party. So if Mr. Barrow is appeasing the APRC with the hope of getting their backing, didn't Jammeh's recent statement really rule that out?
But what is their chances? What is the chances of the APRC? Are they going to be able to win the elections? That is very unlikely.
So why do you think Mr. Barrow will compromise, will even try to appease them, or try to, be soft on Jammeh matters if he was not interested in getting the APRC?
But Lamijam, we know that the Barrow camp has always been in contact with APRC leadership.
Well, there were rumors that they used to call the State House.
There were rumors, there were evidence that suggests that. And even within the APRC camp, there are people who truly believe that Barrow is trying to mobilize.
Yes, and recently
we have heard from people from the Barrow camp that say this is politics. Everybody is open to be mobilized to support your political agenda.
Yes.
So it's not a secret that Barrow sees APRC as a potential ally in their political ambition.
Even to the extent of sacrificing or compromising all what he stood for when he was within the UDP or within the coalition, let's say, fighting against Jammeh's tyranny. You think now, because of politics, he's willing to bury all that and embrace them just because he wants to be re-elected in 2021 with their support.
Now we cannot be sure what President Barrow stands for, except that he wants to serve as a president of this country.
And he wants to get that at all costs.
At all costs.
Even compromising his own previous position.
Even going against everything that the Gambian people have suffered under President Jammeh.
Okay, there is a body which is specifically and who came out specifically and directly opposing the position of the APRC when they said they have a right to demand for Jammeh's return, and that is the Gambia Center for Victims Against Human Rights, and they are represented here by the chairman or the head, Serif Kijera. Serif, you even said, should they be given a permit to protest, which we know has happened, you threatened to go, to look for a permit and, come out to protest against any suggestion that President Jammeh deserves a right to come back after all what had happened. Why do you disagree with the fact that they shouldn't be given with a permit to demonstrate or to call for Jammeh's return?
Well, first of all, we recognize the right of the APRC as a party, that they have a right to freedom of assembly and to express themselves freely as well. But with regards to the issue of Yahya Jammeh, we have all had the testimonies coming out from the TRRC, which seriously implicated Yahya Jammeh on gross human rights violation. For APRC to go out and seek a permit to stage a protest for Yahya Jammeh's return to the Gambia, I think if the government should have granted that permit, would be a slap on the face of the victims, because APRC has been in denial with all these, the testimonies. There are confessed perpetrators that willingly, gave their testimonies to the TRRC, and they have all implicated Yahya Jammeh as behind all these atrocities that have been committed during the 22-year reign of Yahya Jammeh. And APRC has been strongly in denial of those facts. I think what they should have been doing is to be remorseful, to show at least some remorse to some of these victims, and at least to come out and apologize to Gambians. We are all Gambians. The objective of the entire transitional justice agenda is a healing process, and it provides the platform also to reconcile, so that we can move forward as a nation. So, but if APRC has been presiding over all these crimes that have been committed, and they have been in total denial of all the facts and evidence before the Truth Commission, I think it would be totally unacceptable for them to go out and stage a demonstration. Stage a demonstration for what? Half of those that participated in that protest came from Casamas. The evidence are there for everybody to see. We have seen video, the footage, interviews with some of these, the protesters. They cannot even speak their local language. They were speaking in French. Their dialect also. So I think it would be totally unacceptable to have APRC go out there and stage a protest for Yahya Jammeh's return after all this, the evidence before the commission.
So you are not opposed to them being given a right to express themselves or to have freedom of assembly as a political party, but the subjects they picked for that protest was wrong according to you, because it really is an insult to the victims.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, you also threatened that you will go out and demonstrate to show the world that their position is unacceptable. Jammeh was not somebody that anybody should even entertain coming back here. Are you going to go ahead with that protest?
Yeah, on Monday we will be holding a press conference at the Victim Center. There will be the 20th of January at 11 o'clock in the morning. Initially we put out a press statement regarding a planned demonstration for Thursday the 23rd, on which we are trying to resettle. We have already resettled to the 25th of January on Saturday. That will be on Saturday next week. So we will be informing the general public in a subsequent press statements that we are going to publish on Monday. We'll be engaging them on radio and probably Kerfatu, and the other online, TV channels. Okay. Yeah, so that is our plan at the moment.
Well, the APRC said Jammeh is not a fugitive from law, so they believe whatever allegations have been made against him, probably he will be better placed to answer those if he were in the country and not outside. Do you have any problem with that?
Well, one is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Yeah. That is a legal, everybody's entitled to that, So, but yeah, with all these, the testimonies coming out from the TRRC, and I'm taking into consideration with the report, the recommendation from the Jotna Commission, which the government produced a white paper. Yahya Jammeh has been indicted by the Jotna Commission. Yeah. In fact, the government have started selling some of his assets. Yes. So I think what the government could have done is issue an arrest warrant on charges of economic crime, because that recommendation has... Okay,
at least one recommendation is conclusive.
One recommendation is conclusive. At least we know, the findings of the commission. Yeah. At least they should have issued an international arrest warrant. Yes. At least for that, on charges or whatever, economic crime or whatever. Yeah. So with the pending, TRRC, maybe one can say
that is not conclusive.
That is not conclusive yet. Yeah. So we can wait till the, at the end of the mandate of the TRRC. Okay. But Yahya Jammeh is entitled to, to come and defend himself. But I think we have to take into consideration the current political climate.
I'm coming to that. Yeah. It is, whereas it might be a valid argument that he should be given the right to come and defend himself, many people, especially people with conscience with security and political matters, said his very presence or any thought of him coming back is itself a possible threat or danger to the security of the country. So isn't that valid enough to keep him away until, even the government has found the need to extend the mandate of the economic forces because they believe the security reform has not been completed, etc., etc. So why should the same government entertain any thought of Jammeh coming back?
I mean, it's a valid argument, and I'm not going to downplay the essence of that. But here is the thing. The government is always more powerful than factions of the society, APRC inclusive. We have seen when Yankuba Ture was arrested, there were audios that came out mobilizing APRC members to go to the Supreme Court, or was it the Supreme Court or the High Court, to protest. They decided to do that once. It didn't achieve the objective that they wanted to achieve. There is always going to be the threat of APRC's presence here and their strong connection with Jammeh. We have seen, even with the audios that are coming out right now, that Jammeh still has valid support from the APRC membership. But notwithstanding, when the government decided to show an example with Yankuba Ture, where is that case now? Yankuba Ture is still in the government's custody. Yeah. Where is the APRC? What is their attitude towards it? They have to accept that this is our Gambian laws and this is the process, this is what it must take. I'm not saying that the Jammeh case is going to be similar, but if the Gambia government is willing to show a strong resolve with regards to President Jammeh, it is going to soften the attitude or the stance of the APRC membership. But the fact that they feel so emboldened and they can appear as threatening to the Gambian government is because they see that there is leniency coming from them and that if we want to go out, nothing is going to happen to us.
And you said the spokesman's statement that Jammeh security is guaranteed is not enough. It should have been an outright message that if you ever step here, you could probably be tried for allegations of human rights things against.
It's not that it's not enough. For me, I think it is unacceptable.
Okay.
It's unacceptable to show to President Jammeh that we wouldn't otherwise have no problem with you coming here, except that we cannot guarantee your security and your safety. Like, it's not about Jammeh, it's about his victims. Like, what prevented them from charging him with crimes, for example? Which means that even Jammeh would not dare want to come back to the Gambia. The reason why he is pushing for his coming back is because there is nothing to prevent him from coming back.
Okay.
But
that is the really that you blame the government for that.
Obviously.
They don't seem to be serious, or they are no longer opposed or very serious with what Jammeh is alleged to have done. But like he said, if they are ever interested in his coming back, it will be difficult because they've sold his properties. Not so. Most of it, if not so. And according to the APRC, the so-called joint declaration, they said there was a provision which says his properties, etc., should all be protected. Now, how can the government, still soften on him and yet sold all his properties? I mean, what message do you hear? Is it not a mixed message now? If they really they may not like Jammeh coming back, but they still want to get his supporters to support them. How would they?
I am not sure
really
about whether his assets are being sold. Maybe you have more information on that than I do.
The minister said, in fact, the 50 million they've given to the victim, or rather the TRRC, was money got from sales of his properties. Okay. And there'll be many more.
But that's one thing. My point is, even if the government is worried that Jammeh coming back is a security threat, they should not carve that message to show that they are the ones who do not want him to come back. Make it happen as though Jammeh cannot come back because he knows when he comes back he's going to get into trouble.
Okay.
You create trouble for him here because that's what he has created for so many people.
Okay. Mr. Kijana, when the victim center had always said or have always read or sensed the lack of seriousness, if you want to see, on the part of the government in handling the plight of the victims, as well as in even matters relating to Jammeh. You have always believed that the government is too soft, or rather not interested in pursuing your common interest. Is it because of what the critics of the government said, that this TRRC and transitional justice thing will not be able to be truly achieved because the government of the day has political ambitions to stay into power, and they need everybody, in order to get the votes that they hope will keep them. So they will throw away all the reform agenda. For example, the security reform, not much progress has been made, and the transitional justice going on. People said the very fact that now they would allow a protest for Jammeh to come is definitely diminishing any meaning that the TRRC has. Do you have this feeling as a victim?
Well, while we have our disagreement with some of the issues with government, we recognize the efforts that government has made by establishing the Truth Commission. We have faith in the Truth Commission, and we have confidence in all the people serving at the Commission. But we cannot hide our frustration on some of the issues like the release of the junglers, because there was no communication between government and the Victim Center. I think purely it was lack of communication. At least the victims should have been informed about government intention to release the junglers, the whole rationale about it. We should have been informed about it. So there was lack of communication between government and the Victim Center. But we have a very good relation with the Ministry of Justice. He always had an open door policy with the Victim Center. Even yesterday we had a meeting with him. So at least they are always ready to hear us with the Ministry of Justice.
Do you believe, as many critics of the government said, apart from the minister, stroke Ministry of Justice, there is no other component segment of the government, including the presidency, who is really more committed to getting the reforms done? You agree with that?
That's what I'm coming to, because there is a lack of political will from the other.
From the government? Yeah. Including the president?
Including the president.
Because he wants to contest for elections.
Yeah, especially the president himself, the Ministry of Interior, the Education Department, Ministry of Health. Yes. Because I think the entire transitional justice should have been, they should have at least a collaborative mechanism. All the sectors
of the government.
They should be all part of the transitional.
Many sense that it's only the Minister of Justice, stroke Ministry of Justice, who are committed. All the rest are not committed, including the president. You have such a feeling.
Yeah, all the others was of it and then leave the entire thing with the Minister of Justice. I don't think it is fair.
It's fair.
Yeah, I think we are transitioning from bad governance to democracy. So I think it should be a stakeholder thing. Everybody should be part of the process and own the process.
Well, without meddling into politics, Nyima, don't you think that this really resonates with observers who believe that actually, whether you are 3 years Jotna or you are UDP or you are DOI or you are just an ordinary observer, it makes sense to say that this government would have been better placed to implement this transitional justice and other reforms if they had remained to be a transitional government. Would have been better, they would have been better placed to implement this if they had not been interested in the next election.
To begin with, that was what they sold to the Gambian people. And to be transitional means you're going to be committed to the reform. Committed to the reform means that the entire government makes it central.
Exactly.
That the reforms such as the TRRC, the CRC, the civil service, security sector reform, these are going to be the major activities that you're going to be involved in. And also your actions should be directly linked to making sure that those transitional processes that are happening continue, and so that we transition to the new era, which is of good governance and democracy. But the fact that that is not happening, the reason why this is not happening is because the government from the beginning have lost sight of why they came to office. And if you have a political ambition now, what you do becomes politically motivated. And politically motivated actions are not always rational.
They are not always national interests as they will claim.
Exactly.
There's always partisan interests.
They are self-centered. So that's why it's not surprising to see the TRRC being cast into the shadows as if it was a side project, as if it is not a central project of a transitional government as you would expect.
So at the beginning, the government was enthusiastic about the TRRC and other reforms. They made it a central selling point to the international community. But when they began to be interested in the next elections, well, they are now ready to compromise all that and just look for their interest in the next election.
Exactly, and that's why it makes sense to them to say that to the Justice Ministry, that this falls under your ministry, therefore you take care of it and get into our politics. That's what is happening.
Well, that's unfortunate. Now, before we leave of you, this planned protest is now the 25th, January 25th.
Yeah.
And what will be your central message?
Well, bring Jammeh to justice.
Yes. Instead of ending his exile and bring him to the, in fact, you are saying he should be brought to justice.
Yeah, that is the message.
That's the message.
But actually, what we are saying, we want government to take more practical measures. I mean, to come out with a definitive stand about what is going to happen to Jammeh after the mandate of the TRRC.
So that means now, instead of achieving what they want, the APRC has just brought further attention to what people should do to Jammeh.
Yeah.
And so instead of, what they hope was to, to get some sympathy from the people about Jammeh. But what you are saying that in fact they have, on the contrary, they have even now brought, the Jammeh affairs now to sharper focus.
Yeah.
And now probably prompting people to take more firmer actions.
Yeah. At least they have brought it to the spotlight.
Spotlight.
Yeah, for everybody to
now
engage.
Now, but if you set up a counter, you wouldn't say it's not a counter protest against their demand for him to come. Are we about to see another counter protest group such as we've seen the 3 years Jotna and the Barrow for 5 years?
Yeah, actually, we have already written to the IGP because initially we wrote to him about not to issue a permit to the ATRC.
Oh, okay. Your position was don't issue.
Yeah, so which they did.
They did on the last minute.
On the last minute.
Well, they claim that it's a political party. So, I mean, a political party has a right to assemble. That's what they claim.
Well, they can give any reason to, I mean, they are granting of APRC permit to protest, but we wrote to them, and then we wrote back to them to express our dissatisfaction about the
granting of the permit.
Granting of the permit. So, but we're going out on Saturday, the 25th.
And who are you protesting with? Are you inviting victim families, civil society organizations, or diplomats, or whatever?
Victim families, civil society organizations.
Or every Gambian?
And the entire Gambian population. Because every Gambian is a victim. One way or the other, we are all victims.
Okay.
So we're inviting everybody to come out in their numbers so that we express our concerns with regards to the Jammeh to Justice campaign. You may know that there is already a campaign for Jammeh to Justice.
Yes.
Led by Reed Brody.
Yeah.
They're already planned.
We are working on branch in Gambia and Ghana and
Ghana. We have a J2J in Ghana. We have a J2J in Gambia.
Okay.
So we have a collaborative mechanism between the two. I mean, spearheaded by Reed Brody and his team.
Yeah, Trial International,
Trial International, Kwanika 87, and others.
A host of others.
Yeah, host of others. So I'm sure we just need to, amplify our voice wide, and loud across the continent, because we need.
So if you were a little dozy or sleepy, these APRC demonstrations have woken you up now.
Yeah, we have all woken from our slumber
now by this APRC protest.
Yeah.
Okay, Sirif Kijera, we have to really take leave of you, or you have to take leave of us, whatever, because you have another engagement. But we're very thankful for your presence and sharing your updates on the protest planned, by your organization against the APRC's protest, which dared to suggest that they want President Jammeh back. We will continue with the program with the 3 years Jotna, another very topical and controversial group, perhaps, if you like, after this break.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And for sharing with us.
We'll keep in touch. We'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
On the 25th, I'll be the first person there.
Yeah. I'm sure you.
dreaming of owning your dream homes, EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, school, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464-838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Welcome back to the brunch on Kerfatu. I'm Lamin Cham. Now we move. The much talk about protest march organized or planned by the 3 years Jotna, planned for Sunday, that is tomorrow, will not happen again until at least the 26th of January. At least that was what was conveyed in a communique from the Ministry of Interior, which was jointly prepared by the 3 years Jotna, the civic society, and the Gambia government, so to speak. This statement is as follows. This is the commencing the Gambian government and the security service of the nation for their professionalism in protecting the rights of its citizens. Well, we can't read for, but what actually is the main ingredients of the agreement is that the 3 years Jotna, along with government, through a process brokered by the civic society association, have agreed now that the demonstration will happen on the 26th of January. Now, with us in the studio to shed light on all these things and other questions concerning this is Haji Suare, the PRO of the 3 years Jotna. Haji, now you will not go out, whether with a permit or not, on Sunday, as you have threatened. What really have changed since the last 24 hours?
Thank you, Lamin, for having me again, and then thank you, Numa, also for being part of us, for being with us on this. So, this thing, there's nothing much that changed. If you can recall, on the 3rd of January 2020, we applied for a permit for the police to issue a permit and then give us protection, which we decided to still continue holding President Barrow on his coalition's agreement and the manifesto he presented during 2016 presidential elections. This was the permit that we issued for the police to grant us that permit. And the police waited until, I can say, the latter part, or just one day, 24 hours before our protest, called us and they said they wanted to grant us a permit, which we said that...
Oh, are you saying that your meeting with them yesterday, they expressed intention to give you a permit?
Yes, they expressed intentions to give us a permit, which we don't want to receive that permit because it already affects our crowd. We believe they realize that when they uphold the permit until that time, when the permit is issued, already fear has been already injected in people's mind. Because without no permit, you know that the crowd will not be at that expectation. So this is what they wanted to
So they want to quietly give you a permit.
It was a tactic. Because President Barrow, if you can recall his
The APRC said similar things, that their permit was given to them in the last minute.
Yes, this is what happened to us too. But for us, we compare it with the president's New Year's speech. Because the president was saying that it is not unlawful for him to resign, but he cannot answer to a minority or a section of a group. So the police want to make vindicate the president's statement. And this is why we also decide to run away from the permit and decide to work for the betterment of the movement. So that our crowd
you are suggesting that President Barrow had said, okay, it's not unlawful for me to resign, but I will not, adhere to the demands of a minority.
A minority.
Now, you believe giving you the permit in the last minutes was an attempt for you not to be able to mobilize a sufficient crowd that will convince anybody that you are not a minority.
Exactly, this was the intention. In our perspective, we assume that this is the intention of the police. If they issued a permit yesterday, it is during the weekend time, so it will be very hard for us to reach the radio stations, the TV stations, to sensitize people that we have permit, but it's based on this condition.
Yeah, we actually managed to do it within hours on the social media.
Yeah, we are not like APRC. We are different from APRC. APRC is a political party. We are a movement. Our position is to sensitize people about their rights.
Maybe somebody will say that's all the more reason you shouldn't have a permit, because APRC is a political party, so they are the organized body. Yours, the people see you as a rebel group, so you shouldn't be given a permit.
Yeah, that's what people are talking about. But it is not all. It's the government side who are talking about the today's Jotna, that they are rebel groups and then others. But all patriotic and genuine citizens know that this movement is the most.
The government want to discredit.
Yes,
to scare people from you.
And it's paying back to them because we can see that there are fly advice to the Gambia now. People are advising their citizens not to visit Gambia. Just because of the comportment of the government. The way the government is...
Or you mean they shoot themselves at the foot by trying to portray that you are violent?
Of course.
And people outside read into that?
Of course, because those people who should visit this country here, Gambia, like the tourists and others, every day in, day out, they are having protests in their countries. That does not affect them on their daily activities. So if Gambian citizens wanted to perform the same democratic rights, why is the
government campaign that they are violent?
They are violent people, simply because they want to hold the president accountable for his own pledges he made to citizens. So this is payback.
Their campaign backfired.
Of course, backfired to
people wanting to come see that even the government saying that there's this rebel group.
Of course, that's what happened to them.
That's your point of view.
We are trying to not only it's the real on the ground, because we've seen presidential advisors, ministers, they all gone with such things. If you just look at our permits issue, which was withheld, and then the press release made by the Interior Minister's office, and then the IG's office, the Minister of Defense also sharing it. That will definitely send a bad signal to the world. That definitely Gambia is at a position whereby there's something that is imagined, which is definitely an alarm.
So you mean even the meeting yesterday, the meeting that is mediated by the civil society institution, attended by security government, you mean it shouldn't have been necessary?
Yeah, it shouldn't have been.
It was just sending an alarming signal that there was a serious crisis about to happen.
Yeah, the meeting could have been easily avoided because we addressed a letter, a permit, to the IGP that we wanted to do such things. And then in that letter, it is there, if he has anything that confuses him, let him contact us. So if the IGP saw something that definitely is a threat to security or other things, he should, before he issues something like this, he should have simply communicated to the organizers before anybody.
Before I pass you to Nyimba, I mean, the concern that the security and the government, and maybe people who sympathize the government position may have, was that you wanted to remove the government at all costs. Now you go into the street, people have seen cooking pots and pestles, cooking materials that were supposed to have been donated to you, trucks of rice and these things. And the government and everybody, government sympathizers, we are concerned that once you get this permit, you're going to stay there and insist that until President Barrow goes, you're not going to go.
Lamin,
so they have reason now to deny you.
Yeah, don't forget, Lamin, there is a petition that was sent to President Barrow. This petition has never said that we are going to approve the president. This petition has never said that we are going on and stay there until you resign.
That's what most people believe.
So, but the petition is not talking about that one. And the petition is been sent by organizers, by members. So those members knows what they are doing. We said that we are going to hold President Barrow accountable. That's continuously. if he's not tired of reneging from his promise, we are not tired. We are also not tired of using Section 25 to press for him.
Even in staying in one place, cooking food and staying there.
Yeah, cooking port. If you
your
say
permit
cooking port,
wouldn't have gone to all that.
No, the permit has nothing to do with.
You were going to apply for. Or you say you were going to do it anyway.
Cooking port has nothing to do with a permit. Cooking pots are for stomachs. We are calling people.
But why do you need cooking pots when you are supposed to go 8 to 1?
8 to 1. You know that you have to call people from anywhere. Everywhere in the country to bring them. We have been renting cooking pots to cook for them. So we organized a fundraising. The police decided to destroy that fundraising. That's why you saw those cooking pots. Because in the morning I found cooking pots.
By the way, what is the state of that? Have you sued the police for loss?
We are working on it. Not yet been filed, but we are working very hard on it.
What do you make of the 3 years Jotna and the government now? The cat and mouse game, I want to say.
You know, what has continually frustrated me is the fact that you have a government that is choosing to not be open-minded, to listen to its citizens, to understand why they are agitated and where they are coming from. For this government, everything is partisan. You are either with us or you are against us. And they have turned this very legitimate pressure activity to be a context of crowds. If they are going to pull people up, we are going to make sure that we measure against that crowd, or we bring even a bigger crowd to show that we have support. It's not about that, right? I have seen from many quarters where people are saying, we do not agree with the 3 years Jotna approach, but we understand that government must be held accountable. The president must be held accountable. These people are calling you to honor the promise that you have voluntarily made to them. That is very genuine. The least you can do is to listen to their concerns, understand why they are talking from this point of view, try to broker a deal. At least the least you can do is address their genuine concern. What prevented this president from coming out to address the nation on this matter?
If their concern is for him to step down, that speaks difficult.
You can still negotiate.
It's unacceptable that somebody who has been elected for 5 years, even though he promised.
You can always negotiate. Democracy is not just about conflict. It's also about compromise. Give them something in return for what you want from them. If the president were to come out and say, I cannot resign after 3 years, but I'm going to serve 1 term and then step down. These were all promises you made. And these were all the platforms that you have campaigned on. Right? Therefore, if you were to give them that, they may be able to allow you to stay. But if you make it a matter...
If President Barrow was to announce that, okay, all these problems now I think will go to rest if I now give my compromise. Now I am contesting, I'm not contesting the 2021 elections, I'm only stopping at 5 years. Wouldn't that be enough for you? Would that be enough?
It is not part of being enough. That's what he said. He said he's going to serve for 2 years, and after that he's going to contest in the next election.
But if he now says...
Now he wants to renege from all the promises that he made to citizens. Because if he wanted to justify that the TRRC and then other transitional justice which are going on in the country now, those are the ones he wanted to complete. Why is he just intending more to contest in the next election? So he's showing us that definitely he is not content with only
within 5 years now.
Within only 5 years. And that's not the only issue in this. Governments have to know the constitution that is coming is having so many contradicting to some of the citizens. So many sections that are contradicting to citizens. People are crying that the secularism should not be there. People are crying that the victimized, people who are convicted, if our leader is convicted, then if the constitution says that our leader cannot contest that, we're not going to vote for that constitution. So it means that Adam Barrow will be given more space. Let's not forget that their campaign for the 15 or 20 years will be a reality. So this is why Adam Barrow is fighting for the 5 years, not only the 5 years, but for the next election, for him to be participated in the next election also. And that's why 3 years Jotna is here to remind him that it is not only the 3 years, but you are not in fact going to contest in the next elections coming. We are not going to be tired. Those cooking pots are there to accompany us. We will continue holding him accountable. If he is not tired, we will also go there to...
So what are the conditions now that you reach with the police for the 26th?
Yeah, the conditions are there.
Have you got a permit now for that?
We issue a joint statement that you are seeing.
Yes, I've seen
where you saw that the permit is granted.
Yes, permit is
granted.
So in principle, it's been granted.
Yes, yes. So because we cannot take a permit yesterday and then try to protest tomorrow. We will not do that. So we decided that for us not to affect our crowd, they have to push it to the 26th, which unanimously we all agree. We all agree on that on the 26th, the permit is going to be granted. And they went far and said that there are audios that are circulating. We told them that, look, we have...
But it has always been the problem. People who are supposed to be sympathizers of 3 years Jotna will go on social media and make outrageous comments or very scary comments, and then the government get concerned or the security get concerned, and then they hold it back to the 3 years Jotna. How can you disassociate yourself from people who are supposed to be sympathizers of your movement and then making outrageous comments?
We've been always doing that. We've been sensitizing people about what to say. Though you cannot control people's opinions, you cannot control this social media at your best, what you want.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's a problem. But it is not only 3 years Jotna. You can, if you can recall, Lamin Ardabo is a close aide to the president. They have been using more threatening words than what the 3 years Jotna is doing.
Yeah.
But the police has never taken that as reasons.
Okay.
They have never even followed it up. So there's no...
So you mean these irresponsible statements on social media affect everybody? Nobody has any tangible control?
Of course, it affects everybody. If you can recall, one time before our 2019 December 16 protest, there was a rumor that on social media that the SIS has planted some spies among us who were the 3 years Jotna movement, SARS, and then they are trying to burn down some places.
That was such a...
These were rumors going on all along, but they have never gone too far to investigate that, and it's a threat. And they have never even investigated among our crowd that who is not who. For myself, I just find out in our crowd that there's someone there who is from Barrow Fans Club. I pointed to the police, but they haven't done anything about it. But though we were able to manage it for the thing to remain peaceful, because the intention was to make sure that let them intervene among us so that they will infiltrate the whole issue.
Many said, well, this agreement came about because you have either abdicated or softened your stance from the position of getting the president out at all costs. That's why the police would agree with you. I mean, did you compromise that aspect, or that too was misunderstood by people?
We have never even discuss about compromise something from the president's promise that he made to electors. We made it very categorically clear to the entire security chiefs and then the minister who was there, that nobody will stop us from holding President Barrow accountable. We only compromise one thing, that nobody will play with our crowd. The crowd that we want to pull out, nobody can do anything to make sure that that crowd is not there. That's why we don't pick the permit. We even make it more aggressive on them, for them to accept something that they are not willing to accept, because they are not willing to accept the 26th. Okay. But we believe that if they give us 19 January, that Sunday, it will affect us, and they have to agree with what we want, not what they want. We have not stopped anything. We try to make sure that our campaign is not
you have not come out, as many of your critics said, from this meeting, with very little. I mean, people said you didn't come out with much of what you want to achieve from the meeting. You rather compromise your...
No, at the beginning, that's what people understood, but before we explain ourselves. Since we explain ourselves, then people began to know that, yes, we won the battle. Because if we had received that permit, definitely it will affect us, because our people need to come out from everywhere.
Now, are you aware that now what we can rightly say is your opposite group, the 5 years Jotna, have also said they intend to place how to call it, an application for permit again to counter you again, even though Nima would say that their last counter protest was state organized, if you like. You don't mind the state now going, everybody putting state machinery and state personnel into organizing another pro-Barrow rally, pro-Barrow march to counter your 3 years Jotna. When will it stop? Why can't you now settle down and forget about this protest and we just wait for the next election?
Yeah, Lamin,
since if you organize one day, too want to organize.
No, Lamin, for us, I don't think we care much about the
5 years.
No, not 5 years.
The Gambia
government.
They call themselves Gambia for 5 years.
I call them Gambia government counter protest.
Well, they said they are Gambia for 5 years.
Yes, they are.
So if it suits Barrows, then that's coincidental.
No, not coincidental. It was Barrow for 5 years.
Well, they said Gambia for 5 years.
It was Barrow for 5 years. When people say that, hey, President
Barrow we had Barrow for 10 years, 15 years at that rally. So
now let's go this way. What we believe in, we have nothing to share with these people.
Okay.
If they want to organize a protest, a counter protest to our own, that is their rights.
And maybe if you stop, they will stop.
No, they are not stopping if we stop.
No,
they are not stopping if we stop, because we are not only fighting for this government.
Okay.
we are not only for Barrow. No, we are there for political legitimacy.
Okay.
Political deception. That's what we are in for. So these people are in for what? This
Barrow.
is for Barrow. This is my political leader. I have to support him, no matter how it costs me.
Okay.
So that's why you see them always when you go out, then they also go out. But they will be tired because Barrow must go one day. they will be tired.
What do you make?
Yeah. So I just want to reiterate my position. For me, even if it's just one person who is on the street to say, I want to hold my president to account, I believe they have a genuine reason, and the person in office must be willing enough to listen to them. For me, it is not a context of crowds. As you have rightly said, 5 years for Gambia for 5 years, I don't think it's a genuine movement. We have seen, it's like the government saying, we have an opposition, therefore we are also going to go out to protest against your position, against us. Like it doesn't make sense, because we've seen ministers.
Many people have said it's the UDP, because they've always associated this with the UDP. It's the UDP and the NPP.
Yeah.
Serious people who are neither supporters of NPP or UDP. I mean, serious Gambians who would rather see government get to work. They're beginning to say the UDP and the NPP are the ones organizing counter protests. Simply they put it like that.
Yeah, it can be UDP, it can be NPP, it can be any party.
So, but do we deserve that at the moment
Because
when we have a lot of work to do?
Those political parties in opposition, civil society organizations, individuals, these are the people who hold the government to account.
Okay.
Like, you cannot discount their participation or even their membership. Like, it doesn't make sense whether it's GDP, it's PDOIS. These are Gambians. And these are Gambians who are protesting on something that's genuine. My point is, people need to understand that we are beyond that time where politicians would campaign on any platform to deceive the electorates, and then when they are into office, they do something completely in contrary to what they have promised. We have to fight against politics of deception. We have to make sure that our leaders understand that power belongs to the people. They are serving the people, and they have to serve the people genuinely. Because it's so frustrating to have to come out from an era like the Jammeh era, and then hoping that things are going to be different. This is going to be people-centered. Our government is going to be people-centered. They're going to be serving the people, and you're not seeing that happening. Everything they do is counter.
So do you, when you said, Mr. Suarez, 3 years Jotna want to put the politicians to account, do you realize that there have been at least 3 or more? It's not just President Barrow who could be said to have flip-flopped on his position on this transition. I mean, Usain Dabo, who once said, you know, he isn't for 5 years, now said his party, in fact, he's the one who led the call now for his party position, which now said 3 years is enough. And Omar Jallo, OJ, who was the chief advocate, the most vocal politician, senior politician among the coalition, had insisted that it would be 3 years, although now he has changed. So you have 3 people, Dabo, Barrow, OJ, all changing their position, and there might be others. So but you seem to be focusing on Barrow.
We are not focusing on Barrow, Lamin.
Is it because
Barrow is the principal man here?
Because
he's the one who was elected.
Yes.
He's the one who said, I, President Barrow, I will stand as an independent candidate, and then I will lead a transitional government of 3 years, in which I will organize elections. That elections I will not be a contestant, but I will foresee the elections, and then I'll go back to my business.
I see.
This is what Barrow said. It is not Hussein Dabo who said it. It is not Oje Jallo who said it. They were just beside him there, and the agreement was given to him. He confessed it. So if Barrow reneged from that agreement, we have all the right to hold President Barrow accountable.
If I must add anything to that, I mean, when Dabo said that, it was disingenuous. When he said it, people condemned it, myself included, it was not right for him to do so. And if he goes back to renege on that, whatever it is, it only affects him and his political party. Okay. Me as a Gambian and as a Gambian voter, what do I care what UDP says or what Usain Dabo says? Except that they might win me over to vote for them, or they may not win me over to vote for them. So this is a different thing. How you punish political parties for flip-flopping is you deny them your vote.
Your votes.
But if you have a president that is serving you and is not serving you right, you have every right to go out against that president. You don't go after opposition parties.
So that you must not measure your reaction with the same way you may have for UDP, for DOI, or for PPP, as you may have for Barrow, because Barrow is the one who is actually the principal. He's the one more important now. And he shouldn't use the excuses of UDP flip-flopping to cling on to power.
That's the clear intention of Barrow's position since day one. Because if UDP flip-flop, DOI or flip-flop or PPP flip-flop,
that wouldn't affect his intention. If
his intention was to serve Gambia for 3 years.
Okay.
So why should UDP or PPP or PDOIs change his position? If he's the one who was in that convention and then he confessed that I will serve for 3 years. So clearly it shows Gambians that Barrow was on the political platforms to campaign and deceive electorates. But the intention was, if I be a president, I would not agree to none of these so-called agreements I called today. But from there, electors also has to know that the manifesto is a contract between Barrow and electors.
So what could we expect next Sunday, the 26th January? What will be the message? Now that you want people to understand that you are not out to get the government, get the president out by force, what then will be the new message if it's different from the other one?
The message is going to be a continuous message that we have been sending since day one, that President Barrow should respect his own words and resign, or call for elections in which he's not going to be a contestant. If he cannot call elections, let him resign. This is our position. But we have never intended to go and uproot a president, or to go and forcefully say the president must step down. That's not our intention. This is why we are applying for permits. If you apply for permits, that provision of the Constitution has never said that you're going to forcefully look for your rights. Peaceful assembly, it's called, or demonstrations. But it has never said violent demonstrations. There was nowhere in the Constitution that you will see that. And this is why we are applying for permits. So if we are doing that, I think it is the government who are trying to put the fear in people's mind that definitely Jotna is a violent group.
Now, many
people
also suggest, why don't you take another form of solving this matter? Again, seek direct dialogue with the president. Like him coming to a meeting with you and then explaining himself and you reach an understanding. People believe if you really abandon this 3 years threat, Jotna threat, perhaps that will be, that will really help, in preventing any other protests and other tensions that are coming. People blame you for creating this tension, all this tension in the first place.
I think they should blame President Barrow. Because we have never just get up and then organize protests like that. In April 2019, I think we sent President Barrow and the coalition a petition that they shouldn't amend these 3 years to 5 years. If they should do it, they should have consultation with citizens. They should organize this consultation. Or if President Barrow feels like he has a majority who support him, let him call for referendums. That's what we presented as a petition. Okay. But he has never taken it serious. And a second petition also was there, which the whole coalition members, they are aware of it, including President Barrow. But they have never taken it seriously. So the third one is where you see the procession. That was on the 16th December. Okay. So if we are not serious about dialogue, we wouldn't have sent those petitions. But this shows that definitely we are much serious about dialogue. For President Barrow to open the door of communication between him and the electors before he decided something on his own self. And or the advice of his self-centered advisors. Those are advising him that the majority of the country are behind him. Where do they get the statistics? That the country, because we have silent majority even.
Yeah, but at least they showed the last time that they also have capacity to pull a big crowd. Even though you said that was state managed by
a rented crowd, a state managed a rented crowd. Because I swear to Allah, I organized faces there, those come from our side. They came from our neighboring countries. The
APRC Nima was immediately denied. Their flag was there, they denied that they never took part in that. Officially.
Exactly.
You believe that?
I'm not going to safely say they have rented crowd because I don't have any evidence to that. And I cannot also say that they bring people from outside.
But you definitely saw state involvement.
I know that it took resources to mobilize people. Maybe some people were there because they were paid. Maybe, I'm just saying. Yeah. Right? But also, we also have majority of them coming from the government itself.
Yeah. Right? From State House.
Yeah. And all of these party A, party B, party C,
but
is in support.
But the political advisors were also at 3 years Jotna.
With their political parties.
Even though you don't welcome them, they were there.
With their political parties, indeed. GPDP was there. Yeah. You saw them.
You saw. And I'm talking about the 3 years Jotna. At least the advisors came there. You didn't welcome them, but they came there. So they could have said we went to vote.
They did not join our crowd. They were there to provoke the crowd. No, they haven't joined the crowd. You could see the Henry Gomez video if you follow. He was there to use that.
Barrow came briefly and left.
Barrow came, but he did not reach the crowd because he knows that the atmosphere in the crowd is not favorable.
Barrow came for the petition.
No, Sankara came for the federation, but Mbalo was there and then Henry was there. But he knew that the crowd was, the atmosphere was not definitely favorable.
So you mean in this one they actively took part in mobilizing?
This one they mobilized with their parties, they mobilized with their families, they mobilized with their friends. So everybody was there.
So according to you, 5 years, Gambia they call themselves Gambia for 5 years.
Yes.
It's one and the same as the NPP.
NPP is one and the same as the NPP, is one and the same as the Barrow for 5 years. So the Gambia for 5 years, that was organized by the Gambia government, used Gambia for 5 years as a third party, definitely is a waste of resources as far as I know. Because the government, I have clear audios with me, prominent members of Barrow for 5 years, Barrow Fans Club, saying that the government, they don't say that Barrow or some, they said the government, they met with government officials who are trying to provide 320 gelegeles to Basse and to all regions. These are prominent members, I'm telling you. I even sent the audio to Lamin, to Omar, but because unfortunately he cannot translate the audio.
Journalist.
Yes, as journalist. So for him to know that this is what is going on, because if I have evidence, I don't.
Now, what do you make of the two crowds? The crowd of your crowd and
my crowd
is
Gambia. My crowd is just the biggest crowd. I call it's the bigger crowd. I wouldn't say it's the biggest, but it's the bigger crowd.
People dispute that.
Yeah, but there's no justification because there's no statistic that these people they have that or they have that. So
maybe we should now count people.
Yeah, maybe will start counting people that maybe.
I'm not interested in the crowds. I'm always interested.
How did you see the APRC crowd? A battle of crowd visibility.
Yeah, I mean we have come to now reduce everything to be about crowd. It's not about crowd.
So we will go.
You know that is because of the president, the position of the president. The president says that he cannot answer to a call of a minority.
Okay.
That's what he said. So and which I believe shouldn't be.
I want as a Gambian, for me, if I disagree with the president, I want the president to listen to me, even if it's just a crowd of one person.
This is what the president promised initially.
That's what you expect
but you don't expect the 3 people to say president no, and he go and bet 10 people and said, oh, more people said this, so I'm going to follow them, not this.
Exactly.
No, but there's a way of a president leading a country. You should conduct yourself, but not this way. Because this is, for me, in my own perspective, is just to log ahead citizens' heads. To bring a competition that definitely, even after you, this legacy will continue. This kind of attitude will continue. Barrow should be more smart and know that definitely he has a bigger opportunity to make sure that create a legacy for himself that nobody will forget. But now he has created a legacy for himself, definitely nobody will forget again. That's what I can say, all these sort of things when you are in politics. And that's what he's implementing.
So would you say finally to Nyima that the coalition government really did not manage themselves well? They have now a deep division, which suggests that they are in fact opposition to one another than actually opposition to the real opposition.
I mean, right now we cannot even speak of a coalition. It doesn't exist. I mean, it manifests itself from the early stage.
How did Mr. Barrow manage to have this deep division from a camp that actually supported and voted for him?
I mean, if you ask me, I'm saying this from a personal point of view. I think Barrow has surrounded himself with people who are not necessarily interested in the national interest, what benefits the nation. These are people who feel that they have suffered under the last regime, and it's like it's our turn now to eat. There is a book on that on Kenyan politics. I think that's the mentality they have. Nobody is going to stop us from benefiting from this government. Okay. And this is the reason why every time they see a sign of opposition anywhere, they feel it is against them personally. Exactly. So it has always been like that. I think that's what have pushed certain people from out of the coalition. And I also think that's what is misleading President Barrow currently. People who believe that it's their turn now to eat, that he surrounds himself with.
And what do you make of other people who believe that perhaps the people who really surrounded him are in fact the people in control, not himself? Even though he may have think that he is the one in control, but they see him as a tool, that they see him, for example, as weak, indecisive, and the person they can deal with rather than Halifa Saleh or Hussein Dabo or perhaps any other person in the coalition.
I mean, that would be a very strong statement to put out there. I wouldn't call my president weak or what.
Critics
What I suspect is that he is more comfortable listening to people who agree with them, rather
and
than
not
people
those who don't agree
oppose
with
him.
him. So,
Exactly.
So your advice would be he should
have
courage.
people who are critical, because this is about a country. It's not just about your interest. You should have people who are going to see things from a different perspective from yours. But if it is always about somebody who is going to agree with you because they want you to keep them in position, because they see what you are interested in to align with their personal interests.
Like, okay, they said, all right.
Then it would be problematic.
Perhaps our only point of convergence is he wants to remain in power.
Exactly.
We want to remain where our bread is buttered, so we move on.
And they must also understand that although democracy is about the majority forms the government. But when the government is there, the government serves everybody.
Everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody. So now, right. Haji Suare of the 3 years Jotna, thank you very much for coming to us and updating us from your planned. Still, you really said you're gonna go ahead on the 26th in the streets. Where is it? This one, is it the same place which has now become the center for all protests? The Denton Bridge one.
Yeah, the sitting corner, the Denton Bridge. The same place.
The same place.
Yeah, because for us, our purpose is not where we do it, but where our message can be heard. In a safer place.
The APRC did it. Some people call them in the bush.
Yeah, of course.
There's no bush now.
There's no bush now. Just look for your safety and then the safety of people who are coming to that crowd. But for me, Lamin, I think President Barrow, like why people are saying it always, he lacked communication. And leadership, you have to have good communication. If you lose the communication, you are going down as a leader. President Barrow lacked the communication because he always want to listen to people who say that definitely the majority of Gambians are supporting him. Those are the only people he want to listen.
And you think that's misleading?
That's a complete misleading statement. If, President Barrow can advise himself.
Yes.
Before he came in as a president, just after being a president-elect, he said that his door is open for all Gambians. And that should remain intact.
Yeah,
because I may be criticizing you, but it's based on your goodness. If you listen to me, it could help you. But if you think that if I criticize you, that will going to harm you, you are going into the ditch. Wow. Yeah, that's what I believe in.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Suare, for that advice. At least he's got an advice for the president.
Of course. He's a president. Even though we have different views, but he's our president. And then if he wins, we all won. But if he loses, we all lose. So we want a better president. We don't want a president like him today, the way he's going. So he has to listen to citizens. If he listens to us, then we will have a better nation. And then the better for him is to resign or call for elections, then in which he's going to be a contestant. Go back to his business land.
Controversial point there, and that's where we will end this edition of the Brunch on Kerfatu. Thank you very much, Mr. Suare. And before him, Sheriff Kijera from the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights, and Nyiman Sata Kamara from the University and from Kerfatu. Thank you very much on behalf of all of them. Until we come back your way again, goodbye.
ñoo ñëw ak yéen rek skincare plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5 star Jotna la 5 star Jotna mooy Jotna bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo cuub but bu la neexee ñu cuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la. We're not all about skin. We are skin, care, and the plus does come in so many different ways.
No, ini bara. Welcome. Basically, lot of lala me along is cool, man. That I can really relax.
What the madam?
Yeah, that's
What the madam?
Yeah.
Let them do somebody.
That's right.
Grand villa.
That's fine.
Slowly. Yes. No.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people are basically me alone because they relax. So basically, I can understand.
Nina Fani say what? Nidia, Nena Grand Villa is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Beji andikam Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungol bebe senyaring adum na bungol bebe nyarandiring coming ibe la fila ila suwe taranyame. Until Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wale mukamotin telkang. Na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo na fa kalamuta.
Oh man, this is like a paradise.
I know.
I so much love this place.
Thank you.
Trust me, I love this place.
You can move somebody and you're watching what?
Yeah.
Katunjang and no to Gambia. Grand Villa.
I tell you, I love this place. Okay.
Yes.
I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
Ni lefta na kuo keso sotola. Futama Oljuntum Paradise Estate. Mbaya kumandiroke 7527-218. Wale futana website auto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
yara ñilla domoro ka diaten
boy janno CK's restaurant
e sa nakko be ni na dimbale nimba domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kende ma bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jang ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele badde lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo fendin lo dunia kono domoro betama ñillom international o tewoda number 1
amanke ba domolo jandam
e sa domo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa nakko sa futandin
e oto sa nakko be mu CK's restaurant
dafa nan janna mu yat ni manje dorom bijam
aban
CK's restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
na broda min ba Europe Mr. Conte nka bo wala kol kan sai na so ko na mano banta jabo banta tulo ban sai ka bo kol kan anda ka ba office ko na ba dama bulo mutarin ba ka ta fintilano ni kon batunga ne ta ya puriye ma ko do bandi na ta mano sani tulo ni jam munda be te la broda man balwo service kalam mun service balwo service ni da foronte mo kalam munda a fela broda ko abitala internet ol aya ba site la woldo balwo.com nay wo sajje a apu nga ba download la telephone lo na be sandiro to ni wal na be sidin ala office ko ndama manjar pour ay ta bank ko kodoki abe sidin office ko da minto ite message so ya telephone ko no e bitiko be Gambia dawda bitiko ba belo ko ta tano dawda yeta fempo tawo wodama yala bari wo service na ta mo da han mata nyo le kan fija na bro dan ka ko mata nyo lo ayo ko fija han
balwo service dinkirala jampo o manken na kolaya ko balwo service al demano kaje ko ale domor feŋol sang alla dimbaya molu ana lakkanun tewol wato bela ani wad sudum fanan kono balwo service la dinkiralu ani la do kunyolu e be banko karo beto kabirin katon fo koyna nalla fa ko ku ko tan so balwo service la kolto ali commandi telephone la no la milbuko 9400213 7694319 wala 3192870 wala hankabi alta internet oto alila kolu jibe www.baluwo.com.
Do you live abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
Miss B Designer Outlet is the #1 quality and affordable stop shop for all your needs. Get your evening dresses, suit and ties, office wears for both ladies and gentlemen, beach wears, sport wears, pure leather shoes for men, quality belts, bags, heels for all beautiful ladies, original perfumes, accessories, and a lot more. Find us at Kololini Road opposite Gaddafi Mosque at the Aqua Preacher Station, or call us on 295-3411 or 764-2486. Miss B Designer Outlet. Shop right, look good.